This talk is for you, my friends, and for new agents, and for anybody that wants to earn $1 million or more a year selling real estate. Emerson said, when a man is pushed, tormented, and defeated, he is ready to learn something. I'm going to show you 4 steps today that will help you with no budget and no money go from making nothing to building a $1 billion or $1 million business. Do you remember 2011 as vividly as I do? Right? Credit crisis, mortgage crisis, bank collapse, foreclosures and short sales were everywhere. Many of us lost our homes. I had to short sell my own home and become a renter, which is pretty embarrassing when you sell real estate for a living. My bills were piling up. All the escrows I had were short sales, and they took forever to close, so no money was coming in. It probably would have helped if I'd opened the mail, but I dreaded those envelopes. You know, the ones from the IRS? Yeah. After all those years of selling real estate and cashing commission checks and not paying the taxes, it had caught up with me. So I owed over $100,000 to the IRS. I had $50,000 in credit card debt because I was living on my credit cards. And I even had to borrow money from my mom. So I owed $20,000 to my mom. That was a very dark time for me. Everything I loved was gone. I lost my home, I lost my partner, I lost my business, and I lost the man I loved. I nosedived into a really deep depression. And I would cry myself to sleep at night. There were days I couldn't even get out of bed. For weeks, I didn't leave my house. That year, my mom actually was the one that saved me. And she said something that saved my life. She said, Monica, I still don't have a job. I can't pay my bills. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay my mortgage this month, and I don't want to lose my home. You've already gotten behind in your bills, and your business is bad, so I think you should move in with me. Aw, hell no. In that moment, my mom saved my life. Now, I love my mother, but I'm a grown-ass woman. I am not moving in with her. That was not an option. The very suggestion is what triggered me. Sometimes a crisis jolts you out of a rut. I was ready to learn something. So in 2011, I'm ready. The first step for you guys in making $1 million in real estate or getting out of a rut is your mindset. See, in that moment, I decided to take control. Enough is enough. And that's when I chose to change my life, change my business, change the trajectory I was in. Well, I was still depressed, and it was 2011, and one of my dear friends, Susan Blattman, took me to a Tom Ferry seminar. It was a half day at the summit in Irvine. And lucky for me, he was promoting his upcoming summit. Well, by the end of that half-day seminar, I really wanted to go, but I was flat broke. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. My friend, knowing what dire straits I was in, loaned me the money so I could go to the summit. And she said, one day you can pay me back, because Tom Ferry, he's going to help you get your shit together. Boy, was she right. It was perfect for me, and it rocked my world. By the end of the first day, I realized I needed a coach. And frankly, I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, but I knew I couldn't afford not to. So I marched myself back and I signed up for coaching. My coach ended up being the best investment I ever made. She was more like a therapist, really. In fact, I got rid of my therapist after signing up for coaching. So I probably owe her more than the price of admission. The first thing she worked on with me, she didn't ask me how many calls I had made and how many doors did I knock. No. I cried through every coaching call for the first few months. So bless her for being so patient. She worked on my mindset, on my daily affirmations. She got me out of bed and into the gym. She had me reading 10 pages of a good book every single day, and she actually made me write down my goals. It was my coach that told me, I know you can make $1 million in real estate. I thought, she doesn't know me. I don't think she's talking to me. I didn't believe her, but it did stick in my mind. Everything we did together built my confidence, and it pushed me into massive action. First, I needed a new brand. Okay, my entire identity had been with my business partner. In fact, his picture was still on my cards. So I needed new cards, and I needed a new photo. We did that. Kind of like a new agent, right? And then she helped me pick a new farm. What I had learned at the summit was pick a manageable farm, 400 to 500 homes with a minimum 6% turnover and something door knockable. Now, my farm was a gated community, so probably not allowed to door knock, but our motto was ask forgiveness, not permission. Behind every door was a family that might need my help. So our goal was simple, have a face-to-face conversation with somebody behind every door. I had no money. I couldn't send out postcards or mailers, right? So with my business card, with only my face on it, and my knuckles, and my coach cheering me on, I went to work. This doesn't cost money, but it's invaluable. So if your first step is mindset, your second step is sweat equity. You don't need money. Invest time, practice your scripts, learn the comps and the floor plans, take your business card and go knock on a door. I would knock from 5 to 7 p.m. when people are home. And here's the $1 million question. If you remember nothing else from this talk, remember this. For the right price, would you consider selling your home? And it would sound something like this. Hi, I'm Monica. Your neighbor just sold their home for $1.05 million. What do you think of that price? Did you get a chance to see it at the open house? Well, that one sold fast, or for multiple offers, or for a record high, whatever the case may be, okay? And there are still people out there that want to live in our neighborhood. For the right price, would you consider selling your home? People observe your hard work. When I first started knocking, it was winter. So it would get dark early and it was cold. But I would bundle up and I would knock. And people are watching. And you'll get invited in. Sometimes they feel sorry for you because it's cold. And if it's raining, even better, bring an umbrella. You're gonna find the next seller. About my third night door knocking in my new farm, as I'm walking up to a door, I see a lady at her kitchen table drinking a glass of wine. She comes to the door, and as we're chatting, she tells me through tears that her husband passed away 2.5 years ago in the home. And she can't stand another minute of these memories. She's ready to sell. That was the beginning of my farm. I would have never found her if I hadn't been door knocking. So you've got a listing, now what? Leverage. Leverage, leverage, leverage. You have instant credibility as a listing agent, so leverage it. If you price it right and market it properly, when that sold sign goes up, you can leverage one listing into more listings. Here's what I did. First, I do a coming soon campaign. Before the listing ever hits the market, I would door knock around the listing. Hi, I'm Monica. I just listed your neighbor's home and we're staging it and preparing it to go on the market. So it's gonna show beautifully at the open house. I would like to invite you to come by. By the way, at the open house, I'm gonna have a lot of buyers coming through that may wanna live in this neighborhood, but prefer a different floor plan. For the right price, would you consider selling your home? Then, on the second, after it comes to the market, the very first premiere week, I would do a wine and cheese twilight open house. And this I deliberately do, obviously so buyers can see it after work, but so the neighbors can come check it out. And I would door knock all around the listing, and I have 400 homes in my farm, so I would also leave door hangers in case I missed somebody and they would get an invitation. And I would invite them to the open house. Then during the listing period, hold as many open houses as you can. This is how you're leveraging your listing. It's free, right? You got no money and no budget, so hold it open, right? Put out as many signs as you can and put them up early. It's free marketing and branding for you. Leverage the visibility as long as you can. And when it does sell, put that sold sign up as soon as possible. Door knock around that listing and tell the neighbors, hey, I just sold your neighbor's house. We had 3 offers on the property and it sold above the asking price. I still have 2 buyers that want to live in your neighborhood. For the right price, would you consider selling your home? Guess what? You'll find the next listing and the next listing. By the end of the first year, it's now late 2012, I had sold 6 homes in that little farm of 400 homes, and I had net a GCI, a gross commission income of $130,000. So at Christmas time, thank you. At Christmas time, I took $1,200 of that money and I bought Christmas cookies for my entire farm. And I bought a wagon and a Santa hat. And I did what I had become really good at. I went door knocking, right? I delivered 400 cookie tins and I knocked every door. And if they weren't home, I left a notepad with a handwritten note on top of the cookie tin. And if they were home, guess what? That was the easiest door knock of the entire year. Happy holidays. I brought some cookies for you and your family. And I came to wish you a wonderful new year. Any thoughts of selling in 2013? So on Christmas Eve in 2012, I had 3 doors left to knock. Now I know what you're thinking. You were knocking doors on Christmas Eve? Well, remember, I was still broke. I had no man, no life, and no money. And I owed the IRS $100,000. So yes, I was door knocking on Christmas Eve. Well, the third from the last door, this gentleman opens the door. And I can see that they're getting ready for a Christmas Eve party. The home is gorgeous. And I literally gasp. So he invites me in to show off his home. And about 5 minutes in, his wife gets home. Now, she's not too thrilled with me there in my Santa hat entertaining her husband. But I win her over with my cookie tin. And as I leave, I ask, for the right price, would you guys consider selling your home? He told me, if you can get me a $1.5 million, I will. Well, when I left his home, I took this picture. And I promised myself I was going to earn that listing. 3 months later, I sold his home for $1,768,000. And then I leveraged it, and I sold the house across the street for $1,700,000. And then I sold the house 8 doors down for $950,000. That was the best Christmas ever. So mindset, sweat equity, and leverage. Those are the first 3 steps. 4.5 years in my 400 home farm, I've sold or leased 50 homes for a GCI of over $1 million just in that farm. I say we because at the rate my business was growing, I had to get help. Last year at Tom X, Jeff Thibodeau said, hire A players who love the work you hate. A team always outperforms an individual. So I went from being pushed, tormented, and defeated to last year in 2015, our team earned 1.1 million GCI. Thank you. 5 years after meeting Tom Ferry in his green tie and hiring a coach and putting in sweat equity to make this happen, I paid off the IRS. That's huge. I paid off all my debt, including my car. I paid my mom back, and I even paid off her second mortgage so she could keep her home. Last year, I bought my own home, so now I live in my farm. So think about it. What's your dream? Where do you want to be 5 years from today? I challenge all of you. Dream big. After all, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Anything is possible. If I can do it with no money and no budget, so can you.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. We have a number of events coming up, and we'd love to have you there. Visit tomferry.com/events and reserve your spot today.